When Mr. Smith gave out the church's money to help fund another project, he appeared to know what he was doing. What happened next will shock many. This is the much talked about power of giving. Please come with me to see what happened next. Mr. Smith was doing a secular job in one of the state government agencies in town. He had been working this job for a long time and had been made a director in that agency of government. At that level, he was very comfortable as his benefits alone could guarantee him most of the good things he needed in life. But Mr. Smith needs something more fulfilling. He does not see his secular job as a fulfilling one. In fact, he saw it as a distraction to his life's ambition. His main ambition in life was to serve God at the highest level. As a result, he currently combines his secular job with pastoring a church. At a very tender age, he had been serving God. He had always dreamed of pastoring a church. His enthusiasm for that knew no bounds. In the process, he had seized every opportunity offered to educate himself by attending a number of seminars that would help boost his pastoral dream. In the process, he had even gone through a seminary institution. Eventually, he had become a pastor while at the same time doing his 9-to-5 job. It was eventually a dream come true when the time came and he had to retire from the secular job. He now decided to face his pastoral job without any distraction. His wife too, 55 years old Anna, was a businesswoman and also a staunch member of his church. They got married many years back and had 2 children. She was of very tremendous assistance to Mr. Smith in all areas of life. The church membership grew substantially. The church was made up of only one building, but has a lot of space. The church, a few years back, was able to pay for and acquired a wide expanse of land that was close by. Hence, the church had enough land for expansion if they want to. They have recently finished fencing that new acquisition and added it into the main property. Before now, a part of the building was used as the main auditorium. This auditorium took up a very large portion of the building. The other parts of the building were used for the children's school. Another part for the offices of the pastor and other personnel. In recent times, membership have been on the increase, and the need for expansion became inevitable. Hence, the pastor had called for voluntary donation of members to see how they could expand the facilities. Other programs have been lined up so as to mobilize funds for this expansion. The church had been very prudent in managing its affairs. Whatever they have done have been on the basis of cash and carry. They have never borrowed a dime to fund their activities. They believe that this one is not going to be an exception. True to type, the response from members was fantastic. There were many pledges made, some running into a number of months ahead before the pledges could be redeemed. But once these pledges were realized, the church will be able to take care of the projects. The fact is that they do not want to start anything until most of the monies are on ground. They don't want a situation where they will start a project only to abandon it halfway due to lack of funds. So they decided to wait for some time. Each time Mr. Smith was coming to church, he drives through a particular stretch of road. On that road was this school that had a project that was half completed. That road is the same stretch of road on which the church was located. He often notices children, some walking, others running to school. It gives him joy each time he sees the children going to school. It often reminds him of his own school days. He remembered himself and some of his siblings trekking to school. He remembered the fun of having to walk to and from school with your friends. He remembered that in their days, some schools ran the shift system because the schools were just not enough. Hence, some pupils will do the morning shift, while the other set will do the afternoon shift. It was very inconveniencing for the students, but they had to adopt that system so as to accommodate the increasing number of pupils that were willing to go to school. The school system then was only government funded, so the number of schools were very few. The few that were available had to improvise so as to take care of the teeming number of school-aged children. Things, however, began to improve when some private initiatives were allowed to open and run schools. It was an initiative that was God-sent. These private schools eventually increased the chances of pupils being able to go to school within some reasonable distance. Like Mr. Smith said, schools in their days were located many miles away from home. The pupils were therefore very weary by the time they get to school, and takes a long time before they could settle down to classwork. They were also dead tired when they come back from school, and in most cases will not have the strength to study when they come home. He loves the school system a lot and dreams of a day when the church which he pastors will own their own school. While he was thinking about the school system, he began to remember a topic on giving which he was taught in the seminary. He remembered clearly, as if it was yesterday, the teacher lecturing them about the importance of giving. He told them that if they bother to give something to someone, even when the giver had need of his own, the universe will join hands together to give that giver back, not necessarily in the quantity he gave, but in a much more abundant state. Over the years, he had not only seen people prosper by giving, but has had similar experiences himself. Such givings work more if you are giving to a cause which you do not believe can give you back in return. That was how Mr. Smith decided to donate generously to the school, and they got their project completed. As a result, Mr. Smith had developed a habit of giving generously without expecting anything from the beneficiary, but knew that he will certainly get back in abundance from God. He knew that the universe does not forget a selfless giver, that by the time repayment period comes, people will be shocked. But many who had what he had just done do not understand what he did and were marveled at the act. Some of them said, "How can a man who was loaded with wants be so generous to others?" But that is not how life works, he will always tell them. He had always told his congregation to emulate the teachings of the great minds. These great teachers have always told their followers to give, even when it was very obvious that they were in great want. But that at the end of the day, the Lord will give you in abundance. A few years down the line, his church began to grow astronomically. As the members were growing, so his church ministry was growing and receiving favors locally and from abroad. Somehow, a partner church overseas heard of their need to build a new auditorium that will seat an audience 3 times more than their present capacity. The overseas church donated more than enough to build the auditorium. Then came an NGO that also heard about their need. That NGO took it upon themselves to buy all the furnishings required for the new auditorium. Then came another who had and donated paintings and other aesthetics for the auditorium. At the end of the day, Mr. Smith and members of his church were marveled at the level of support they got. Mr. Smith did not forget the lesson he was taught about giving. From their calculation, the funds received from donors alone were more than enough to complete the project 2 times over. Mr. Smith had never preached any sermon since then without telling people about the importance of giving. The moral of this story is that if you give to others, not expecting anything in return, you will be rewarded in ways beyond the comprehension of man. People should learn to do good. Their rewards are always on the way. In closing, please remember that when you help others, even when your own needs are very obvious, the universe will multiply your own blessings in great proportions. If you have been blessed by this story, please like it, share it, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section. Thank you for being here with us.